Hey everybody, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. I'm too excited today as the colors change in the background. Oh, lighting effects. I'm just kidding. So I'm super excited because I get to review another product from one of my favorite companies, XPPen. They've been around quite a while making really good products at an affordable price. They've been innovating, adding different technologies to different tablets at different price points. And today is going to be just another evolution of who XPPen as a company, really striving to do their best to provide really good products to their users and always thinking of the quote-unquote artistic side of that equation. A while back, they released a tablet called the Magic Drawing Pad. Now, we won't be doing a side-by-side comparison with these today. Just know that they've already got one of these in the marketplace. And if you're interested in seeing what that is, please look in the description below because I reviewed that a while back. I love the Magic Drawing Pad. It's been one of my go-tos for, for sketching, for drawing, for concepting, for doing things on the fly, for traveling. It's got the speed, the storage, the power that I needed, as well as the drawing capability to really facilitate a lot of my ideas. And ultimately, it kind of became my digital sketch pad on the go. That being said, XPPen is releasing something called their Magic Note Pad. It's not a singing Magic Note Pad, unfortunately. That would be ultimately awesome, but also a little strange. But at the end of the day, that's the name of it, the Magic Note Pad. So note, that is really what this is about. So there's a lot of tablets in the marketplace doing specific things, a lot of tablets doing those things very poorly. And I've experienced quite a few of those tablets from other companies we will not mention in this video, but I'm anxious to get my hands and my drawing brain wrapped around the Magic Note Pad because the Magic Drawing Pad was really good at drawing. So I would kind of think that the Magic Note Pad would be good at note-taking. The differences between the two are negligible, but the reality is this is a new product, so we're not going to be looking at stuff they released a year ago. But instead, this particular new tablet comes in a couple different colors. I believe it comes in silver, white, and gray, I believe. It is 10.95 inches diagonally. It's got 1920 by 1200 pixels as a resolution with 400 nits. It does support sRGB at 95%. It's got 16,384 levels of pressure sensitivity. Again, very similar to some of the other stuff they have in their product line. An 8,000 milliamp battery. That's a big battery. Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, running Android 14. That is pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. I've seen Android 14 on a few of my other tablets that I own, and it's got an octa-core processor. So that's pretty cool. And 6 gigs of wired RAM with 128 gigabytes of storage. Now that I kind of gave a little quotient with regards to the 6 gigs of wired RAM because nowadays, the way that ARM processors work, you typically have maybe 4 gigs of actual wired, and then it has a controller that kind of allocates what it needs from the SSD. That's no different from other tablets in the marketplace. Apple does this. They don't really publish their RAM totals. I know Samsung does this. XPPen actually does this with their Magic Drawing Pad. So whenever I say 6 gigs of wired RAM, it actually probably is going to be 4 with maybe 2 gigs of shared memory. And then whenever it needs to take some stuff from where it needs to take stuff, it will take it. So 128 gigabytes. Now, after looking at this tablet, because I am going to do an unboxing here in a moment, just to show you that XPPen does things correctly. We're in yellow now. Yellow going to gold, gold going to yellow. That they really package their products with the user in mind. Some companies will just throw something together, throw it in in a rudimentary box and call it a day. But XPPen lets you have what is known as a unboxing experience. So let's go ahead and get started unboxing the brand new for 2025. Let's look at it again. Magic Note Pad. Singing version. Not really. I'm just singing because I love doing this. All right, let's get started. And here we are. I have not removed the shiny stuff from the box as of this morning, so you're going to experience this as I experience this. So, one of the things that I note, Magic Note Pad, tongue in cheek. So, whenever XPPen comes out with a new product, they typically put a piece of artwork on here that is indicative of the product. So whenever you see this on their website, they will show this and relate it possibly to a driver update or some other type of update. So, yes, so we're going to go ahead and look at the back. Box is nice, blah, blah, blah. I've already read you the specs of the item. So this one, of course, is a little bit smaller than the Magic Drawing Pad, Big Brother. Let's go ahead and put this to the side immediately. Star of the show. Wow. Kind of hard to get that out. I don't want to use my pocket knife. All right, let's see what we can do here. Haha. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is different. This has which looks like a spot for the pen, possibly. And it looks like it's made of metal. Rounded edges, as opposed to the, here's the Magic Drawing Pad. Bigger. But let's go ahead and, this is always like an origami. I never get this right. I don't. Yeah, I never get this right. Alright, so how do I get in you? I don't know. I'm confused. When in doubt, just do it, right? Ah, yes. So, first of all, my first impression, wow. That is sweet. Yes, it is metal. Metal. It has a matte screen protector on it. That does look like where the pen goes. We'll find that out here in a moment. But here is the USB-C. That looks like a speaker port. Speaker port on each side. Then you have the power on. I don't know, that might be the volume. Possibly. Looks like microphones. I don't know. I don't see any memory expansion slot. No memory expansion slot. The Magic Drawing Pad did have a memory expansion slot, but I am sure that I will find out the details here in a hot minute. This, I presume, is the case. Nice, nice. Ooh, it's got a little house. Pen has a little house. This kind of looks like Alcantara, which is like a faux, very similar to Apple products. I presume this goes in here. Oh, interesting. I don't know how it fits in there. It's kind of willy-nilly. Oh, it's magnetic! It's magnetic! Very cool. It's got magnets, very powerful magnets actually. Magnets on the back that adhere it to the case, so it's got its little house. Is this magnetic? Maybe slightly. Yep, it is. So the flap is magnetic. It attaches to the back. Very nice form factor. Not heavy, but quality, right? You know quality whenever you feel it. So let's go ahead and find the peripheral items. Here is the quick guide and the pin. We're going to put that to the side. Of course, we will read that before we dive in to the goodness, which is the new Magic Note Pad by XP. Oh man, so this is different. Okay, so one of the things that I always commented to myself, I said it normally, more than once. I didn't say it. Actually, I might have said it in the review. First of all, pen form factor looks very similar. I always felt the Magic Note Pad pen felt kind of cheap. Right? You get it and you want it to have some type of shablow, right? You want it to feel good. You want it to kind of wow you a little bit. This has a rubber coating on it, and I am shablowed. This is wonderful. It's got a little single button pen, right? A little bit of screen printing right there. Okay, good, good. Place that to the side. Box, normal box area. Let's go ahead and put that to the side because honestly, it's a box. Let's go ahead and put that to the side. I presume this, let's go ahead and put this right here. I presume this is the charger. This is something you don't see anymore. And I've made this comment because my daughter recently bought an iPad and it did not come with one of these. I guess the companies presume that everybody has these, which we don't, because you transition from USB to USB-C, which is what this is, and I'm so happy that they did this. Okay, not branded, but okay, that's fine. Typically you see a little XPPen on the back. I'm not upset, it's fine, no biggie. So here we are, we're going to open this, and I've got yet another USB-C cable. And two, I'm sure at some point in time, since companies are omitting these, they're going to omit this too. I don't know. Because they just presume since you have so many different devices that you're going to be able to plug it in. Each tablet has a different need. And I love this, the fact that they include these. So, A+ XPPen. So let's go ahead, get rid of the box, open this up. It is magnetic. So cool! Wow, that is nice. With the pin in there, she don't want to close. So we're going to chuck this up to being user error first. Yeah, it doesn't want to close with the pin in it, which I'm sure after time that it will eventually close, right? I hope. Maybe it's, I don't want to damage the nib. Yeah, little hang up. It doesn't want to close with the pin in it. Not a deal breaker, but obviously not ideal. You would think there'd be some QC here. But overall, I think that fit and finish presentation, I give it an A- because obviously I would want this to close perfectly because I'm carrying it. I don't want it to fly open whenever I set it down. And of course, you know what happens if I have it on, right? If that little thing comes on, then maybe the unit will come on. So what we're going to do, now one of the things that I don't see is the ability to possibly have it like a stand. Typically they have a bend right here and a little notch right here, and you would flip it down and it would be like on display. Now again, I don't quite know, and this is the beginning of the video, this is my first exposure to this unit. I don't know the price point of this unit currently. I will soon, and probably by the end of the video I will know and give you more information. But as of right now, since it is smaller than the Magic Drawing Pad, I would presume that we'd probably be around the $300 range, $350. Probably to compete with the iPad 10-inch, 10.1. Anyway, so let's go ahead. We're going to start it up for the first time. Let's see what kind of charge it has on it. I've got absolutely nothing. I don't even get, oh, there we go. A little twinkle of the eye. So this is the power button up here. Kind of begs the question, what is that? Here's the volume rocker up here. It's got two buttons right here. Interesting. So we are in portrait mode currently. Starts up. Where's the... Typically you get a really cool sound. I am super anxious to get in here and start utilizing this. I love the form factor with the rounded edges. I remember whenever iPad went to the hard edge, and I wasn't a fan. I do own an iPad Pro. Here we go. This is XPPen's shell over Android 14. Hi there. Okay. English. Gravity. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up things for the review. I'm going to go ahead and set up things for the review, and yeah, we're at 53%. Not ideal. I like to see this at least 90, 85 to 90. So we're going to go ahead and put it on a charger and get things set up. And here's the unit out in its native sleeve that it comes with. I believe this is some type of synthetic. I don't want to call it synthetic leather, but it's almost like an Alcantara. If anybody knows what that's, like a synthetic leather, right? Nice little debossing right there, and of course the place for the pen. My initial swing was whenever I first opened it up and I put it on here and I opened this right here, it took the pen with it, right? And then it wouldn't close very well as I allowed gravity to do its job. But at the end of the day, it just took a little bit of opening and closing, and since this is magnetic, it just slips right on. So we're going to go ahead and go into the interface. Now this is connected magnetically, as noted before, and you can just take it right off if you like. And again, I am floored by the fit and finish and the quality of the product itself, this being, which I believe, I want to say it's got a metal or some type of magnesium backing on it, but I'm not really sure. But it fits in the case really nicely. So right now we have, I believe, let's go ahead and go to 85 to 86 brightness. We're going to change the display because I think right now we are eye comfort mode. So what's nice about these new products, especially tablets currently in the marketplace, is they do have screens which change. You can change them warm or you can change them to cool. So this blue light, unfortunately, does have negative connotation and negative effects to your eyes whenever you're staring at it for a long time. This is more like a natural right around here. And then in the evening, so it doesn't affect your sleep pattern, you can move it all the way over here. And you can put it to where you want it. And you can automate the schedule as, I'll go ahead and turn off. So now we're what it regularly would be, which is really nice. Now I have it set to a different interface, which is in, I believe, Android 14, which I like because it's very similar to some of the other tablets that I utilize. Now, just so you get, so you understand, for context, here is the current Magic Pad. You can see the Magic Pad, I believe, is 12.2 inches diagonally, and it does not come with a cover like this one does. This one seems to be more catered towards your business professional, maybe schools or something along those lines. And this one, the Magic Drawing Pad, seems to be catered towards, of course, the artistic side noted in the title. Now, the Magic Drawing Pad has a camera on the back, whereas the front, whereas the Magic Note Pad only has a camera facing the user, possibly for video conferencing, Zoom, Teams, or something like that. Google, right, your Google Meetup, and you know, stuff like that. So what do I think overall? I'm going to give my honest opinion. I was very, very surprised because the same processor that is in the Magic Drawing Pad, the updated version is in the Magic Note Pad, that octa-core processor. First of all, apps are almost instantaneous whenever they launch. So like games, you can see it's extremely snappy. And I do, for context, here's a Samsung Galaxy Galaxy Pad, Galaxy Note AI, something. It's one of the smaller Galaxy Pads. I believe it's low on batteries. But this was kind of my go-to for a long time for notes. But now, this particular machine has been so good. Now, during the unboxing, now we're going to launch an app here in just a moment. During the unboxing, you guys saw these buttons up here. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out, what is that little shiny button right there? Here's the the power button. Here's the little shiny magical button. It's magic. And here is the volume rocker. So basically, what XPPen has done, as I launch the camera, yeah, it's it's just like, let's roll. Yeah, see down here, it says 9.8 gigabytes available, 6 plus 6 gigabytes. So again, I think 6 wired, 6 shared, 9 available currently. So that's what I was talking about, that controller allocating RAM as needed. So what that little button does, it gives you different screen settings at an instant. You don't have to go into the settings at all. You don't have to go in and manipulate stuff. You can just basically hit a button, and what it does is it allows you to go in. So currently we're at natural color mode. It shows you what it is. This is the XPPen mode. So if I want to go into light color mode, watch this. Enter mode. So basically it kind of turns it into one of those, I don't know, those drawing pads that are very simple. Now you still have the same operating system, same interface, but it just gives you a different little look, right? So then if I want to enter a different mode, if I want to go full ink paper, enter mode. And there you go. Very simple, very easy to use. And if I were to go in, let's say I launched, let's see, let's go into dead trigger. So basically what this is going to do, don't allow, is it kind of makes everything black and white. Now, how is this going to help you? I'll show you in a minute because we're going to go into notes. But let's go ahead and go back. Let's go into natural color mode. It's going to pause. There we go. And you saw how fast the transition was, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. So in terms of gaming, I'm not going to go into the gaming just yet. It does have, like I said, an octa-core processor that's really powerful. And overall, it really is just a joy to use. So we're going to go ahead and get out of there. Drawing. So first of all, drawing, I believe, is going to be a secondary thing with this particular item. Now, does it draw? Yes. Does it draw just as good as the Magic Drawing Pad? Yes. It is literally identical in feel and haptics. And one of the things that I think is really improved is the pen. So this, I believe, is the second generation of the, I believe it's called the Magic Drawing Pen or Magic Pen. It's got a rubberized coating, and the sensitivity is very similar to the other device that they have. However, it just feels more natural. And I think that might be because I get a little bit more grip on it, whereas the other tablet is more of a plastic. It's got a plastic coating, and they do look very similar, if not identical. It's just the newer version has that rubber coating, and I actually prefer that. I haven't tried to see if one works on the other, and so on and so forth. That's why I wanted to concentrate on the Magic Note Pad. Okay, so let's go ahead. One of the things that they do include, where's it at? Okay, so this is an app that they include. They include the Google suite of applications that you go in, and of course YouTube, YT Kids, YT Music, Google Drive, Photos, the Google Play Store. It is an Android operating system after all. So I've downloaded quite a few games. I've also downloaded something like Disney Plus, some stuff for online learning like Domestika. What else? Angry Birds, that's one of my favorite games. I've done Clip Studio Paint. And pretty much my favorite drawing app on devices like this is going to be Sketchbook Pro. So let's go ahead and launch that. And you can see I'm just fooling around, messing around with drawings. going in and playing around with my Yeti character, Freddy. And you can see here. So the feel of the unit is very similar to the not only the Magic drawing pad, but also the Samsung. Everybody really shouts about the Samsung device with this Wacom fueled pen. And I think it's great, but sometimes the pressure gets a little off with that pen. Whereas on the XPPen unit, you can see the pressure curve is fantastic. It is literally buttery smooth. And there is not one complaint that I can think of with this particular device as it applies to drawing. I think the only thing that I would change, and this is a personal preference, you can see the nib right there. You can see the nib. It's already starting to wear a little bit. Now this does have a coating on it, I believe. It's etched. So you're going to have an etched coating for anti-glare. But the more you use the nib, now they do include nibs, which is really nice. Samsung didn't even do that. So, but in terms of, golly, it's just so good. I'm just messing my drawing up. He's like an alien duck or something, I don't know. Maybe he's got a bow tie. Bow tie goes around. Anyway, you can see just by me doing some doodles here and there that the sketching quality is absolutely 100% A+. When I can go in and I can, of course, dial things in as it pertains to the pencil, but overall, the drawing feature of this particular device is yummy. It is so good. And what's really cool is I believe, some applications like their note application, this secondary button right here, when you press it, becomes an eraser. But in here, I just go to the eraser and erase stuff out. So yeah, you can see, I mean, super snappy, no hang-ups, no delays, nothing like that. Sketchbook Pro on this particular device just runs wonderfully. So let's go ahead and get out of there. How does Clip Studio Paint run? I haven't gone into Clip Studio Paint and activated the license because I have it on so many other licensed tablets, but I'm going to go ahead and do that here real quick just to kind of get a feel and see where we land. So let's do that. Okay, so we've launched Clip Studio Paint, as you can see. So I've switched over to the simple mode because just for clarity, we don't have a lot of real estate with all the submenus and palettes and all that other stuff that Clip Studio Paint has in their studio version. So I switched over to their simple version, which I believe is really, really intuitive. So how does it perform? Let's go ahead on the layer. How does the Magic Note Pad perform in Clip Studio Paint? I would expect nothing different from what you're seeing, which is exemplary. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a really quick skull for you guys. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do an alien. So overall, I think the power of those processors in this environment, let's do this. Let's just make it really simple. Let's give his eyeball right here. Yeah. Okay, up. Okay. Here's the top of it. Now you're seeing some of the, I don't call them false positives, but I have drawing with your finger turned off. And what it's going to do is basically touch Now this touch doesn't do anything, but whenever I go and I start manipulating stuff, it might grab if my finger right here touches. So if you have problems like that, just grab yourself a glove, one of those handy dandy cloth gloves that everybody wears whenever they do digital art, and that'll help that. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the tablet itself. It's just, you know, they're all doing it. Give them a shirt. So you can see nice pressure quality, good pressure curve, right? We're going to go really thin, and then we're going to press hard. We're going to come back. We're going to have to go really thin again. So you're not getting any shoestringing. You're not getting any blocking, you know, blocks or blurbs or anything like that. It just really feels really, really good overall. And like I said, with that rubberized feel, which was always kind of a surprise for me on the other device that they manufactured. I always felt the pen was a little cheap feeling, and they corrected that. This has a premium feel to it. Yeah, so we can switch the brushes here. Let's tax it a little bit. Let's go to, let me see here. Let's go to the brush. Watercolor. Those are loading a little slow. This is the first time I've activated this program. So let's do a rough wash. I'm going to add a layer. Okay. So I'm not having any hang-ups at all, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and shrink that brush down just slightly. Very nice. Jack that brush up. And again, that pressure curve is wonderful. Not having any major hang-ups or anything like that. Just a pleasure. And I can see myself having this maybe in a park, maybe, I don't know, sitting down, waiting for somebody at the airport, just sketching and drawing. And overall, it really has just a wonderful feel to it. So let's go ahead and come back. Then gouache, wet wash. And you can see that real rendering time will go in. Again, you're seeing it is putting it down pretty quickly, and that is a pretty big brush. So let's go back. Let's go to spray. A little bit of a hesitation on there. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and push that back a little bit. Good response. Pretty happy with what I see so far, especially in a big program like Clip Studio Paint. Now, Clip Studio Paint runs really good on the Magic Drawing Pad. It also runs really good on iPad. And so far, the Magic Note Pad is definitely performing as I expect, which is really good. So let's go ahead and get out of there. Okay, so what else do we want to look at? So now we're going to launch the included note app that they put on the machine. It's called XPPen Notes, and I've used this now for probably about 3.5 weeks. And so far, I love it. It launches very quickly. But basically, what it is, it's like a notebook. I mean, let's say you're taking notes, class notes. 2025. Okay, teacher talk 101. Okay, then you go to the next page. Teacher talk 2. And what's really great is, I'm not going to review this app, but it's very similar to OneNote that I use for Microsoft. You can change the colors. You've got highlighters. It's got a highlighter feature right here, which I love. And again, that feel, it feels so natural, drawing and doing everything that I would do in a note application. And you can zoom in, which is really cool. And if I need to erase, and this is pretty cool. So my other app doesn't do this. It erases Basically, it's hard to describe, but it'll erase blocks. Like if I go to erase the 2, it'll erase the whole 2, and it won't be there. Well, what's really cool about this, you hit the eraser, and it erases like a real pencil. It's just so cool. That was one of the things that really surprised me whenever I first started using this unit. It does have different tools up top. So we have a pen, and then we go to a pencil that has a little texture to it. You can see that right there, a little texture. This looks like a graphing pen of some sort, a little more, right, mechanical pencil. You can post things in here, you can select things, but we're not going to get into the minutia of this particular. You can change the line size if you want. But just know that it's a great note application for taking notes and stuff. Hence the name of the device, the Magic Note Pad. And if I want to change, like I'm in a different mood for that day, I hit that Magic Note Pad button and it's set a natural color mode. I go to light color mode and I can enter that. And it kind of changes the feel, right? It's like I almost have 3 devices in one. Let's go to ink paper mode. And this is just really cool if I want to sit, you know, maybe in my living room and just sit there and take notes, or I've got ideas. All right, we're going to change the size here. We're going to go back to what I like to use, which is the pen. Idea 1, right? Monster sketch. Whoop. And see, it doesn't have false positives or anything like that. So again, XPPen has really done their homework with regards to this application. Very cool. So let's launch some games. So with that processor, I've played, because it's got the similar processor to the Magic Drawing Pad, I've played quite a few games with this device. And what I love about XPPen is they think about the user, right? So I've got a Surface device right here. I've got an iPad on my right. I've got a Samsung Galaxy Tab Lite right here. And the best battery life comes from this. Okay, put it this way. I've taken notes with it. I've played games with it. Okay. I have checked email, I've watched some videos and tutorials, and then I put it down and close the lid and I walk away. And here we are 3 days later, I open it up and we're at 91%. So then later on in the week, pick it up, use it. I can get a full, now if I'm using it continuously and doing drawing and watching videos and letting it just eat the battery alive, of course it's going to eat the battery alive. I mean, my Surface device, I only get about 3 hours of life out of that. The iPad is one of the worst. Drawing, I get about 5.5 hours of life out of that, and that's the iPad Pro 12.9 with the M2. So with this device, the battery is really the star of the show, in my opinion, because I can push that brightness down to probably about 50%. I can go in and I can launch games and play games like Angry Birds. You might not like Angry Birds, but I do because it's very simple. But it launches very good. And also what I like, the speakers. So it does have speakers on each side. So you're going to get stereo speakers, again, which is very cool. And what I like about this particular unit, not only is it have that nice anti-glare coating on it, but the speakers are really good. It almost has like a surround, and I don't know if it utilizes the cover to kind of project around me, but it's just so good overall. Just really, I'm super impressed with it. I've been on this board now for quite a while, so please excuse me if I don't get past it. But as you see, the sound is really good. It's just, it doesn't lag at all. Yeah. So anyway, you can see, just wonderful. So we're going to go ahead up. And I believe it does have picture-in-picture. I just haven't gotten in there and started fiddling with it at all. It does launch Disney Plus, which is typically, I use Disney Plus because it's kind of heavy with their animations once you launch the program, and it has the potential, sometimes instead of the other tablets, to really bog stuff down. And you can see it loads very quickly. Very quickly. Probably as quick as my Roku or my smart television. Yeah, just really fast. So very, very, very good. Very happy with that. I mean, let's go ahead. We're going to scroll through. I'll just show you that really quick. We're not going to stay on here longer than 6 seconds. So it is a Tuesday, which you're going to have more people on the network. So a lot of times, any kind of hesitation. So here we go. So let's see what that does. Again, a lot of times whenever you do stuff like that, in this particular application, it has the potential to crash the device. So again, this is a test. Some of this might be network related. We'll see. Nope, it's coming. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it catches up. Now I might, for comparison, grab my iPad Pro 12.9 and see what it does. So we're going to do that really quick, just to give you a side-by-side. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull my iPad 12.9 and I'm going to see if it did exactly what this one just did. Okay, here is the iPad Pro 12.9. This is the M2 version. So we're going to go ahead and launch the application. A little bit quicker on the iPad. Let's go ahead and look at the scroll. Yeah, see the network. It's quite a bit faster. So let's go ahead and see what it does here. Launches Moana. Almost the same amount of time, it looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so we can see live scroll down here, where on the notepad we did not have live scroll. So let's go ahead back. We're going to go ahead back into Moana. We're going to see if I did get live scrolling. Yeah, we do have live scrolling. So there you go. So almost the same. So maybe that was a network. So at the end of the day, a lot of times, and this is what you have to really look at, that maybe it's a network issue, maybe your internet, but I was kind of questioning the performance of the notepad previous to me going to the iPad and back to the notepad. So it looks like it scrolls just as good as the iPad Pro. Look at that. Just fantastic. Yeah, so very good. So those of you who looking for a really good unit to satisfy some of those cravings that you have to ingest media, then this device is going to be great for you. So let's go ahead. We're going to go and let's see. There's Dead Trigger. I'm trying to get another. We got Sniper, Speedstorm. Here we go. So this is a really good game that shows the prowess of the unit. Let's go ahead and turn the brightness up because the graphics are really good in this. And I'm doing this because some people, people play games, right? Okay, and here we are. So this is a game that other people are playing at the same time. So a lot of times, tablets can't handle that. So let's go ahead and see how good it performs. I'm really excited to see. Love this. Okay. Last time I got first place. Okay, go for green. Tap and hold. Very good overall. Graphics are great. Feeling really good about this. Okay. Very responsive, not getting any hesitation, not getting any major motion blurs or anything like that. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. The speakers are really good. Yeah. yeah, I mean, you can see very nice, very, very good. No hesitation. You can sit here and play for hours. Yeah. And here we are on YouTube. A lot of times, you'll scroll through and you'll get some hang-ups and whatnot, especially some of the lower tier tablets will really have hang-ups. Here are some of the reviews that I did. Obviously, here's the one for the 22 XPPen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. There's the 165 Hertz model. And we scroll down here, we start seeing some of my other videos. If we go by the timeline, see it loads the pages really quickly. There's another Artist Pro 24. Then we go through here. Just lots of great reviews. Now here is the Magic Drawing Pad, and I'll put that in the description below. That review is about an hour long because I do a actual drawing on the tablet in that video, so I highly recommend you visit that. But that's, again, we're not doing a comparison side by side because the Magic Note Pad is a new unit for 2025. So yeah, YouTube does really good. So let's go ahead and we'll launch this really quick. Let's see how it scrolls through. Again, takes a second for the internet to catch up. We're getting good. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. And you can see on that particular review, I went in and did some drawing on my flying pig. So very cool.
They were junk. You had to really know how to fix them, but I mean.
So this does have a camera. Now, one of the things that obviously separates a lot of the devices nowadays is going to be features, and to keep the price point below $500, XPPen had to kind of omit a few things. Obviously, most of us aren't going to be taking really high resolution pictures with our larger tablet. Now, a device like your Samsung has a rear-facing camera, and even I understand why they did it for the Magic Pad, because if you need to take high-resolution photos with your Magic Pad and maybe use them as reference, that's probably what they put that on there for. But this device really is not designed, I don't want to say designed to draw, because it is. The primary function is going to be that note feature and media consumption. So, with that front-facing camera, it does take video and it takes photos. So that's pretty cool. So let's look at the aspect ratio, 4.3, 16:9. Let's go ahead back. Okay, 1080p at 16:9 ratio at 30 frames per second. 13 megapixels at the 4.3 flat aspect ratio. And it does have face beauty. I'm going to do face beauty. That's what I want. I want lots of that. Internal storage is where you're going to be putting let's do the shutter sound. Okay. GPS tagging, allow camera permissions. Mirror camera reset. Oh. So it does have quite a few features for you guys. And if you want to go in and actually edit, so here's the editing software. You can go in and play around. I need lots of enhancements. Enhance, 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 portrait. Make me a portrait. Color pop. So yeah, vivid. They've got a lot of, it looks like filters, afterglow, airy. I like afterglow. That looks pretty cool. Save a copy. And then of course it saves to the storage on your device. It saves where it shows you where it's saved, and you can go there and look at your photos. Here we go. That's pretty nice. All right, so pretty cool. Lots of features. For those of you who are very familiar with Android 14, which I am a little bit, but we're not going to go in because, again, this is not a review of Android 14. This is a review of the Magic Note Pad from XPPen. Now, I do use other note-taking applications, one of them being OneNote for Microsoft, because I've got it on all my devices and my phone, which is pretty cool. But their XPPen Notes, I really like that because of the paper, the paper interface that it has, and the ease of use. I was able to pick it up really quickly. Okay, so we're going to be explaining a few details that may or may have not been explained in the review process. So again, the name of the product is called the XPPen Magic Note Pad, not to be confused with the Magic Drawing Pad. I don't know how that could be confusing. You know, it's really confusing if you were to go to Samsung or if you were to go to Apple. My gosh, they've got Apple iPad, Apple iPad Air, Samsung Galaxy Note, Samsung Galaxy Note Tab Lite. It literally sometimes blows my mind. Anyway, so Magic Note Pad. So it says the world's first high refresh paper tablet. As of this video, retails $439, and they're going to be having some deals run as an introductory offer. I'm sure you might be able to pick it up for under $400. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but typically that's what XPPen does. And what's really cool is a lot of times they include shipping. So the world's first high refresh 90 hertz color e-ink tablet designed for artists, professionals, students, and everyday users seeking a seamless-like digital experience. We did show you that 3-in-1 color display, which switches from kind of a lighter color to natural color, which is what you would get on other tablets, to a complete black and white experience. That's pretty cool. That 90 hertz refresh rate will also eliminate some of the ghosting that happens on lower end tablets whenever you're scrolling or whenever you're going and moving the cursor or even drawing. You'll notice a crispness, and I'm pretty sure that you saw some of that when I was drawing. Of course, full Android 14 that is you can connect to the Android App Store, which is really cool. Instant wake up whenever you open the tablet, and you have instant wake up, and you also have facial recognition for security. 10.9 inch with the XP Pro Pencil 2, and that's also important to note because the technology that they're putting in their pens and their tablets, really with that 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, it's very hard for me not to sing their praises. I've got a couple other tablets that are still lagging behind in the technical curve, and whenever you draw on something like this, it is definitely wonderful. They do include nibs for you guys. You noted, and I've experienced it too on some of the other products where the nib just wears out really quickly. So they do include nibs. The entire Google suite of applications. If you have a Google, some people don't like Google, but I use it. So the case, it includes a case, which is really cool. And like we talked, it does have that anti-glare film. 6 plus 128 gigabytes of storage. So 6 gigs of wired RAM with, of course, that controller that allocates RAM as needed for the ARM chips. 128 gigs, non-expandable. And that is a big deal because unfortunately, probably because of cost or size or whatever, you cannot expand the storage on this particular device. Now, on their Magic Drawing Pad, you can, but you cannot on this device. Now, some people are just going to say, well, I'll never use 128 gigabytes. And that's perfectly fine. Your iPads, you can't expand the storage on your iPads. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. That's why you have cloud storage. So that's not a deal breaker for me. Of course, with that 8,000 milliamp battery, and it has a fast charger. And we're going to talk about the fast charger here in a moment. And of course, a 13 megapixel front-facing camera, no rear-facing camera. Good pictures, good video, 1080p at 30 frames per second, no 60 frames. So I wanted to talk about the fast charger for just a moment. In the duration of me using this device, I charged up with the fast charger. It was super fast. We're talking within an hour and a half, 2 hours. I had, almost a full charge, which was fantastic. Loved it. Came with its own little brick, and I talk about this in the unboxing, how some companies will probably end up not even sending a brick in the future, but XPPen did, and they sent you a cable. That's pretty cool. USB-C. Here's the thing that I had to hang up on. So I took the tablet on a trip, and I did not have the XPPen brick, and I did not have the XPPen cable. And I went to charge it on a standard USB-C with just a generic power brick. And I even tried it with my Apple power brick because I have Apple products and I have Samsung and I have a myriad of other bricks. It didn't charge fast. Now, I don't know if there's some type of software inside the brick or inside the unit, but it really likes the fast charging brick that it comes with. So if you want that 18 watts, so it's 18 watt fast charger, use the brick that is provided and don't lose it. I'm not sure if they provide, I don't know if they provide an option for you to buy that, because I probably would. So it does come with a warranty, pen nibs, USB-C cable, power adapter, stylus, magnet folio, and Magic Note Pad itself. True paper feel, low blue light certification, 1900 by 1200 resolution. The pen does not require any batteries. That's another plus, because the Apple does, and so does the Surface Pro that I use. It requires batteries. The note-taking app. So some of you are going to log in and see that, oh, you have to subscribe, you have to do this. You don't. It's lifetime free access, no ads, no subscriptions, ideal noting with document editing. It's got great brush tools, text recognition, document editing, screenshot annotation, handwriting calibration, and file synchronization. Very cool. So overall, what did I think of this device as compared to a lot of other devices in the marketplace? So let's say you're able to get this device at $400. Who else is in the marketplace? Who else? What other tablets are going to be in the market for that kind of money? You're looking at your 10-inch or 9-inch. I think it's a 9-inch, or is it a 10-inch iPad? So that's, I believe, retails $329. You can occasionally get it for under $300. Then you got to buy the pencil if it supports Apple Pencil. So already XPPen is kind of in the lead because they include the stylus. It includes it. And I think that particular price point is a 64 gig. I'm not sure. And again, this is a 128. It comes with 128 right out of the gate. Samsung sells some devices. I believe, I think their cheapest one is about $280, somewhere around $290. And they include a lot of really great things. And I like Samsung devices. The only caveat that I have with Samsung is going to be the battery life. I've experienced some of their battery life, and it's not fantastic. It runs out pretty significantly. And this 8,000 milliamp battery is pretty awesome. So the big star of the show, besides, because I've already experienced a myriad of different products with really good drawing, had to be the battery. I don't know if there's some type of, maybe it's the new ARM chips that they're putting in the tablets and the computers, but the battery on this thing was wonderful. I didn't really have to, I mean, I would pick it up, I would use it, I would draw on it, I would take notes, right? And then I would close it, I'd stick it down. I mean, I'm looking at it like a week. Now, I'm sure if I used it continually and just hammered it and watched videos and played games, I don't know what the full spectrum of use would be in terms of longevity. Maybe it could be 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours. But either way, I just know that I was able to use it for a full week, multiple days, putting it down, not charging it. And at the end of the week, still having 9 to 10 to 15% power. And I didn't have one time where I ran out of batteries. So that's pretty cool. It's hard these days to find. That's so funny. I'm sitting here talking about all the drawing stuff and well, all the stuff it can do is super powerful and do your dishes and wash your car, but not really. But I talk about the battery because at the end of the day, the reality is batteries, first of all, they wear out. Second of all, they discharge, and then you're left with nothing. So the battery on this thing is phenomenal. Is it worth $400? I want to say yeah. I would like to see it a little bit cheaper. I'd like to see it about $350 to $370. But what's great about XPPen is they run sales, man. They get coupons. They have Christmas sales, Thanksgiving sales. They have introductory sales, and there's going to be an introductory sale for this unit. So definitely click the link below. Go give them some love. You've watched this video. You see how this thing performs. 7 millimeters thick. It's super lightweight, but super durable. And overall, I give it an A+. XPPen is really making some awesome stuff. Is this going to replace my magic drawing pad? I don't know. Maybe it needs to be a singing magic drawing pad. Not really. I love the magic drawing pad, and I will still utilize it because it's got a larger form factor, and for me, the larger is better whenever it comes to drawing on the go. The Magic Note Pad will, of course, fill that slot for note-taking, for doing quick sketches, and maybe even some video conferencing. So we'll see. All right, hopefully you liked the long-winded review, but I'm one for context. It's always important for me to explain to you why certain things are going on, as well as all the features and why I look at a tablet the way I do. I've reviewed some really good tablets, guys. I mean, upper echelon, $1,500, $1,800 tablets that really are wonderful. And this one really, for that price point, is really good. So definitely look into it. XPPen is one to watch, competing with the big boys, with your Samsungs, with your Apple. Yeah, they're making good stuff. I'm pretty excited to see where they're going in the next few years, and kudos. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time on the next review, the next drawing, and like and subscribe if you like what you see, and as always, go out and do something fun. Draw something fun. Draw a fun character. Write something. Or if you've got your brand new Magic Note Pad, you can take some notes and, I don't know, come up with something fun. All right? We'll see you next time, guys. Bye. And make sure to see the links below in the description to be able to access their website and purchase this product. You can use the code Michael5 to get an extra 5% off. Yeah.